Hey guys, it's your boy Rs, back at it again with another video, and you already know, new patch equals new tier list, and this is going to be one of the biggest and most consequential tier lists that I've ever made, because the characters coming out between 3.2 and 3.4 are going to be some of the most consequential units. You're going to have to make the most consequential decisions, especially if you're free to play, that you've ever made in the history of this game's release. 1000%. No one can convince me otherwise. So, normally I speed through these, but due to the sheer amount of characters and the sheer gravity of the decisions that have to be made by not only myself, but thousands of other players, I will be taking my time and explaining things in detail. This should go without saying, but my tier list is purely speculative. So, for people that are new to my channel, the most important note that you can take away from this tier list is that I am predicting where I believe characters will be by the end of the version, not how good they are currently. People literally refuse to read this part of the video or this part of my presentation and then start asking me dumb questions in the comment section or making dumb statements to me because they didn't read this. This is not a current tier list. This is how good I think they're going to be by version 3.8. So if you're looking at this tier list and you're thinking that this is how good they are currently, please read. I made these slides for a reason. They're made to be read. Pause and look at them. Please. I don't like having to re-explain myself. Pause and look at this. Pause and look at this. And this is new, but you're going to see why I added this in the future. We'll get there. This is the only new thing that we have, but let's get into the tier list. And as you can see, this is a lot of characters. A lot of characters. And these are all characters that have come out between 3.0 and 3.4. These are all the characters that have come out. All the limited characters. I don't think that there has been any version of Star Rail that has dropped this many characters within such a short time frame. Like, this is actually insane. So let's get into it. And for my subscribers, by the way, before I hop into this, for my subscribers who are wondering about my inactivity and my thoughts and other things, I have a message for you guys at the end of the video. I do want to provide some sort of explanation for why I've been somewhat inactive and spotty with my content. So, end of the video, if you watch to the end, I'll provide that there. But for now, no more taking up your time. We're going right into this. And like I said, I'm actually going to be taking my time and explaining everything point by point to the best of my ability. And of course, out of respect for people that don't like to be spoiled, Two Card will be doing this tier list without providing any kit spoilers. All right? So you don't have to worry about any kits being spoiled in this video. Of course, I am spoiling what characters are going to be available, but I don't discuss kits here. That's not what this channel is for. So with all that out the way, let's get right into it. Starting off with Lingsha. I still think that she is going to be tier 0. The way that I value characters is how good they are in their niche and whether or not they have value outside of their niche. And she is very good for follow-up comps, and she is very good for break comps, and she is extremely competent in both of those comps. For that reason, I think 100% she is the best abundance in the game right now and will remain the best abundance in the game throughout the entirety of this version. 100%. If you have her, great. If she comes back around and you're looking for an amazing abundance character to invest into, I definitely recommend her. I already have, but I'm just doubling down on that. She's really good. She does solid damage. She cleanses. She has very good heals. Definitely a staple moving forward for free to play players, especially if you are new in the game. And like I said, she comes back around. I highly recommend her. Hyacine. I have seen the details of her kit, and even after seeing it, I'm still putting her at tier 0.5. The reason being is even though she is not a bad unit by any stretch of the imagination, the fact that one of the most important parts of her kit is currently locked behind her light cone is actual insanity to me. It's not surprising, but it's just ridiculous. They've been doing this ever since Acheron came out. To honestly, I think they've been doing this as far back as Jinglu. People like to pinpoint Acheron as being the cause of this ever increasing power creep. I personally think that is Jinglu. I'm gonna be real. Because for people that were around during that time, Jinglu's light cone to this day is still very, 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 very good. Very good. You don't need it, but it's very, very, very good. And she was one of the few units that after she came out, she literally came out after D Hill, which is Don Hung and Barbara Lune for people who don't know. And after Jinglu came out, she almost immediately power crept D Hill. Almost immediately. And ever since then, the developers have very obviously started taking pieces of characters' kits and putting them in their light cones, which has made having characters at E0S0 more difficult if you want to have more efficient runs in in-game content and simulated universe and other content like that. So Hyacin is definitely going to be one of those characters, unfortunately, where a portion of her kit is locked behind her light cone. And for that reason, I am predicting she will be tier 0.5 without it. She will definitely be very solid, very good. Not doubting that whatsoever. I just don't think that she's going to be tier 0 without that light cone. That's the way that I see it, and that's where I'm going to be placing her. The GOAT Luocha. So he is one of the units that I pulled for back in, what was it? Maybe it was version 1.3, 1.4. I can't remember. That was a long time ago. I can't believe it was almost 2 years ago now. So I've had him ever since then. I still use him to this day. I still like his design. I still like him as a character. I think that he is going to be tier one ish. We'll say tier one. He is still very solid. He does his job. He'll keep your team alive, but he is not the best in his class by any stretch of the imagination. But he's still a very solid unit. For people that are considering grabbing Luocha with their free material, well, I can't remember what it's called. I apologize. But if you're looking to acquire him with that material, I would recommend you don't do that. He is not nearly good enough to justify using a rare material, especially if you're free to play on Luocha. If you do that, I believe that you're being very, very foolish. And this is someone who's been using Luocha since he came out. I love Luocha, but I'm not going to gas him up to pretend like he is the greatest thing since sliced bread and there aren't better units for you to choose from. So while he is nice, I'm not putting him up in tier 0, tier 0.5. I'm not going to gas him up. All right. Tier 1 is where I expect him to be. He does his cleansing. He has very strong heals. He's one of the best pure healers in the game. He has an ultimate that allows you to break weaknesses, or sorry, break toughness bars and remove buffs. But even with all that, there are just better units out there. So I'm going to put him at tier 1. For Huohuo, my positioning for her has not changed. She is still a very solid unit if you're going to be playing her with Aglaea as her best in slot healer. She will still serve that role very well. She still provides energy and attack and all the good stuff. She has aged very gracefully as the game has continued. She's one of those characters just keeps getting a little bit better with time. I don't believe that she is tier 0 yet. Maybe there are some characters down the line that are going to be even more reliant on energy, but because some of the best units in the game right now actually don't need energy, characters like Acheron, characters like Feixiao, and upcoming Castorice, can't put her at tier 0, just considering the best units in the game thus far. So for the time being, we're going to leave her at tier 0.5. Still a very good unit, but not worthy of tier 0 like Lingsha. Now for Amplifier, I mean, it's Robin. I've talked about her in great length. She is easily one of, if not the best, Harmony units in the entire game. 100% action advance, attack percent. She boosts follow up damage, provides crit damage, provides attack. She's insane. Ridiculous. Above most characters in this game, the overwhelming majority in terms of sheer value. And so, yeah, at E0S0, she is still Trailblazer tier. She is nuts. So that's where I'm going to put her. For the Remembrance main character, still tier 0.5. I've already explained the reasoning for that. But for people who are new to my channel, the reason why I put them, in tier 0.5 is specifically because I expect a unit to come out that's going to directly power creep them. And given the fact that I know every single character that is coming out from now all the way to 3.8, I was correct. Long story short, I was correct. I don't have the kit of that character that is going to power creep these guys, but I'm expecting them to be insane. That's what I'm truly expecting. I really am. A lot of people who are watching this, who look at the dreams like I do, know who I'm talking about, and they're going to be better than these guys. This isn't a surprise. We already saw this happen with Harmony main character in Fugue. It was only the next core progression to do the same thing with Remembrance main character, so that once the next version comes out, when we get to the 4.0s, and they give our Trailblazer a new path, you gotta have someone who is a replacement that's actually good and worth pulling for. And this character that's coming up much further down the line is going to be very much worth pulling for. They might actually be game changing as well. So by the end of the version, I'm expecting these guys to be tier 0.5. They're so good, especially for someone who's given to you completely free, but they're not going to be tier 0 by the end of the version. So that's where I'm going to put them. Silver Wolf, right? We all know she's going to be getting some buffs, right? She's going to be getting some buffs. We know this. It's going to happen. I still don't know what those buffs look like, so I can't really change her placement. So for the time being, I'm leaving her at tier 3 until I have an idea of what those buffs look like, and then I'm going to adjust accordingly. So my tier lists are always updated. I always change the placement of these characters. She is no different. If I see some crazy buffs in the dreams, then 100% we're going to move her up. But because I haven't seen them yet, she stays there, and we'll see what happens in the future. Now, for people wondering why I added a new important difference, it is because of this little shit. Tribbie. Prywin decided it'd be haha funny to put her in support DPS. I do not agree with that decision at all. Not even remotely close. And the reason why is because I think that as a Harmony character, you are more catered to being an amplifier than you are to being a sub DPS. Right? You can use, as an example, the Remembrance main character as a sub DPS or a main DPS if you try hard enough. Are we going to sit here and put them in those classifications? No, of course we're not. But for some reason, the Pride One guys thought it'd be haha funny to put Tribbie in support DPS and put her as tier 0, which is crazy work, right? I don't agree with that decision at all. I'm not respecting it. So I'm ignoring it outright. Okay? She stays in tier 1. That placement doesn't change. The character that I was talking about earlier that's going to be replacing the Remembrance main character is going to directly step on her toes. Which is the reason why I kept trying to tell people. I kept trying to say, bro, I don't trust this character. I don't think that she's as good as people are making her out to be. But people are gassing her up right now. They think, oh, she's the greatest thing since sliced bread. She's the best in slot for Castorice. Blah, 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 blah. If that's how you feel, go ahead. Just remember, when we get to the end of the version, and that character that I alluded to comes out and makes her look like shit, I warned you. You can't say I didn't warn you. I tried to tell you, and you didn't listen. So when that character comes out and it makes Tribbie look like shit, I warned you. Alright? Tier 1, she is not a bad unit. But I'm not going to put her in sub DPS. That's really stupid. Via that logic, I can put Remember his main character in sub DPS. But I'm not doing that. And Pride One hasn't done that from my understanding. They still have the Remember his main character's amplifier. And if they're an amplifier, so is Tribbie. I don't give a shit. That's the way that I look at it. Tier 1. Moving on. Ruan Mei. Because you can acquire her as well for free using that rare material that we're going to be getting. Ruan Mei is still insane. She was the first overloaded Harmony unit we've ever gotten. She is the first limited Harmony unit that we ever gotten. And to this day, she is still insane. And the reason why I'm putting so much respect on her name is because I have been using her since she came out. Of course, to be fair, I have her at E1S1 right now. And I had her at E1S0 when she came out. But even without her E1, even without that, she is still one of the best Harmony units in the entire game. Without question. Beyond Tribbie, I don't give a shit. I'm not arguing about this. Beyond Tribbie. Okay? I have been using her since she came out on one of my teams, either it being the first half of Memory of Chaos or the second half of Memory of Chaos or Apoc Shadow or Pure Fiction. I have been using her on one of my teams in every single one of those modes since she came out. Every week, every month, for nearly 2 years, I have been using Ruan Mei. She has never, ever, for a single day, been bad for me. She has at no point ever been a character that I regret pulling for. Never. For that reason, given the fact that she gives your team bonus free speed for the entire team, she gives you 68% damage bonus for free, 25 res pen for free, additional break efficiency, increased break delay. All of this at E0S0. And she is one of the most valuable characters that you will ever own in this game. People will try to convince you that she's falling off. I can assure you, no, no, she's not. The only reason why she is not as popular right now is because Tribbie is out. She's the shiny new toy. That doesn't mean that Ruan Mei suddenly got worse. Alright? That's not true. It's never been true, and it will never be true, no matter how many people say it. I don't just listen to I don't just listen to the quote unquote respected and authoritative sources and just go with everything they say. I know her value because I've played through it. I've lived through it. And I'm going to give her the respect that she deserves and put her in that Trailblazer tier. Her value is immense. And if you are looking for a character that not only can be used as a universal support, but can also be used to support break, super break, whatever you want to use her for, she'll work. She even works in some capacity in dot setups. She helps you break, and of course, when units are broken, they take damage over time. Duh. She's just really good. If you're looking to use your resource and you were to use it on Ruan Mei, you're not dumb for doing so. Anyone who tries to convince you otherwise has lost their mind. Even if you already own Ruan Mei, I would still recommend picking her up just to get her E1, which gives you a 20% defense shred. People don't understand that defense shred plus res pen is one of the most disgusting scaling debuffs in the entire game. Those two combined scale insanely well. Insanely well. It does not matter what units come out in the game or what enemies come out in the game. That is always going to be an insanely strong combination. So if you don't have Ruan Mei and you need Ruan Mei, then you might as well just go ahead and pick her up. Don't hesitate. Just do it. You can get her without feeling any regrets. That is how I feel. That is my opinion. And if you already have Ruan Mei and you want to make her even stronger, pick up her E1. You don't really need her E2, but you can get it if you want it. But if you don't have her, get her. And if you are looking to make her even stronger, get her E1. That is my perspective as someone who's been using her since she came out. Moving on. Jade. Jade is still very, 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 very solid unit. I love Jade. I'm gonna be real. I actually pulled for her on a whim. She is still very solid. You can actually use her as like a hyper carry of sorts. But whether or not she is going to be tier 0.5 by the end of the version is up for debate. I would argue that she isn't just because of what I know. She's still going to be good. She is never going to be a bad unit, right? But for now, putting her at tier 1, very, very solid unit. I still like her. I use her in Pure Fiction. I use her in Memory and Chaos. But she is by no means like the best at E0S0. So we put her at tier 1. Anaxa. Now I'm kind of sad because they massacred my boy. They nerfed him. And it's unfortunate, but it's not surprising. I had him at tier 0. Of course, I can't see the future. I didn't anticipate for him to get nerfed. I didn't expect him to get buffed and then get nerfed. So he's still a solid unit. He's still a good unit. But unfortunately, Can't put him at tier 0 anymore. Gotta put him at tier 0.5. I don't think that it'll be a waste pulling for him, but there are definitely better units that you can spend your resources on. And to be honest, unfortunately, I think that the reason why they cooked him is twofold. The first is because of Cipher. You guys already saw her element. You already saw her path. I saw some funky stuff in the early dreams that made me question what she was going to be good for. After we got more clarity regarding that, and I saw more about her kit, this is the reason, most likely, why they cooked him a little bit. Because Anaxa is somewhat doing... He has some things in his kit that's similar to Cipher. We'll put it that way. And Cipher is going to be... If they don't change her kit and they allow her to just come out the gate with the kit that I've seen thus far, or they make it even better, she is literally going to revive every single target DPS in the game. Every single one. She is going to enable him. So she's insane. She's nuts. I might even be understating her potential. She is going to be a really, really good unit who is going to be usable with Ratio, going to be usable with Feixiao, going to be usable with Boothill. She might even be usable with frickin' Acheron, even though I heard that synergy is kind of scuffed. But she's going to do great things. I expect that. I think that one of the reasons why Anaxa got cooked, one of the reasons why my boy got massacred, is because of her. Just gonna be real. So we're putting her in tier 0. That's where I expect her to be. Like I said, I don't provide kit spoilers, so I can't go into extreme specifics for why I think that. But just know, the one thing that I will tell you is that she is single-handedly going to revive every single target DPS in the game. Except for maybe Yangxing, because he's ass. But everyone else, she's going to make them look much better than they are. So I'm putting her at tier 0. I actually realized that I skipped over some characters because I had to move. There's literally so many characters I had to move them over here. So I'm going through the list. I'm going back to Amplifier. Sorry. Going over Fugue first. Tier 0. Tier 0. Fugue is really, really good. She essentially allows you to play Super Break without having to worry about using the Harmony main character, which frees up your slots for Remembrance main character, which... that's a lot of value. She provides defensive shred, and she does a lot at E0S0. I've done a lot of testing with her. I've used her in a lot of teams. She literally single-handedly made Himiko great again. Single-handedly. Just by her existing. Because that second bar means that you can trigger Himiko's follow-ups more often. Add in the fact that via some stretch of the imagination, I don't know how this came to be, but she has insane synergy with Acheron. I have shown on my channel a short that is the largest viewed short on my channel, the potential of Super Break Acheron. I have shown Super Break Acheron on my channel multiple times, being used at the highest levels of Memory of Chaos, the highest level of Endgame. I think that her utility right now makes her one of the best amplifiers in the game now and moving on into the future. Just for the fact that she gives you a second toughness bar to break, which gives you just more damage for free. Then on top of that, she provides defense shred. Then on top of that, she makes Acheron even better. Then on top of that, she can make any unit, any DPS, gives them the capacity to lower toughness bars just by giving them a buff. And then she also has her ultimate, which is less important, but even that is pretty solid because that ignores all toughness bars as well. Really, really good unit. Very, very strong at E0S0. And on top of it, because Nihility has so many good free light cones, so many free options that you can pick from, she's just great. Just great. Just an amazing unit. Alright? So I'm putting her at tier 0, and I think that once people realize that Super Break Acheron is a real and true way to play the character, people will understand how valuable she is. Acheron, of course, by existing, makes other characters better, has given other characters value. Characters like Hela, as an example, even Silverwolf in some cases, and Fugue is no different. For what she's been able to do to revive some of the old standard banner characters, for her synergy with Acheron, due to the fact that she synergizes well with not only Acheron, but Ruan Mei as well, who is obviously Trailblazer tier, I have to put her in tier 0. Anything less would be disingenuous. That's how I view her. Moving on to the other Fire Foxian, Jiaoqiu. Now, some people might be surprised by this placement. I don't know why. One character enables a whole different playing style. The other one doesn't. Compared to Fugue, it's a fair comparison because they share the exact same element, the exact same path. I am not going to put him on the same tier as Fugue. That's bullshit. I value characters by how much they can do. Unfortunately, the more overloaded a character, the more things they can do, the more valuable they are. When you're a free-to-play player, you cannot afford to waste your resources on second best units. You can't, because they will come back to haunt you. And in terms of his ability, he is not bad. He is not bad by any stretch of the imagination. He's really not. He's a very solid character. Unfortunately, though, outside of Acheron teams, he's just not that insane. He's not. Anyone who owns him will tell you that. Inside of Acheron teams, insane. Outside of it, he's just good. He's solid. I'm not putting him on the same tier as Fugue. It just can't happen. I think Fugue has way more value because she enables a whole nother playstyle. And she literally manipulates known mechanisms in the game. The double toughness bar, we're never going to see that from any limited character ever again. The additional damage that allows, the additional delay that allows, the fact that you can use her with Acheron and even outside of Acheron comps, she's still really, really good, puts Fugue over Jiaoqiu. Jiaoqiu is only really, really good with Acheron. With everyone else, he's just solid. He's just good. And to me, that is not enough. So, for that reason, leaving him in tier 0.5. Again, he's not a bad unit. I am not putting him in the same tier as Fugue. People are going to disagree. I don't care. We're going to see, right? Down the line, when everything, all the dust settles, we'll see whether or not my takes age well. Most of my takes age very damn well. I was one of the few people who predicted that Silver Wolf was going to fall off a cliff when everybody was saying that she was going to be a future-proof character. Back when she came out, I called it. And people didn't listen to me because I'm irrelevant. You don't want to believe me here? You don't want to believe me about Tribbie? You don't want to believe me about Ruan Mei? Don't. Don't say shit to me. When we get to the end of the version, and the dust settles, and I was right. Again, I'm not always right. In this scenario, pretty damn confident that I'm right. Kind of how, like, I alluded that Sunday wasn't going to be rerunning with Castorice. I was trying to tell people to pull for Robin back when she was available, and people didn't listen to me. They said, I don't like Robin, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to pull for Sunday for my Aglaea. People were so convinced that Sunday was going to rerun when Castorice came out. How do you feel now? I can keep making correct predictions all day, right? That's my stance on Jiaoqiu. Not a bad unit, but we're going to put him at tier 0.5. Boothill. Now, I said he was going to be tier 0.5 by the end of the version. My opinion doesn't change. I think that he's a solid unit, and that with the addition of this little shit right here, he has a potential of becoming even better, especially at E0S0. That's the way it is. She seems like a very, very strong single target supporting character, meaning that all single target characters, even ones that are operating out of Super Break, it's going to benefit. So, due to that, 100%, I think he's going to be tier 0.5 by the end of the version. Before, it was, debate whether or not he was worth it without his signature light cone. I think that if you decide to pull up Cipher or get Cipher for all your single targets, if you have Boothill, he will only gain value. So we're going to put him at tier 0.5. Of course, Herta, still tier 0. Easily one of the most free-to-play units in the entire game. Only gets better with the sub DPSs that are coming out, including Anaxa. Not so much Cipher. Maybe Cipher. We'll see. I doubt it. But with Anaxa, with Jade, with Tribbie, all these characters supporting her, and the fact that she can operate at very low cost, she doesn't need her signature light cone. She doesn't even need all of her best in slot. You can use her with Ruan Mei. You can use her with Robin. She's just a really good unit. She's just a really good unit. And this version seems to be the version of their edition of AoE. And as such, I expect her to be tier 0 by the end of the version. She's just such a solid unit. And given the fact that we have a free Herta Store light cone for her that fits perfectly on her, if you picked up this character, be glad that you did. Definitely a really good pickup. I thought that she was going to be a comfort pool. I didn't expect her to get so many good units to work with her, and I didn't expect her to be so good at low cost. So I make mistakes, as I said. I'm not always right. So now, tier 0, I expect that to be unchanged by the end of the version. As for Yunli, solid unit, of course. And there's nothing really else to say about that. She's not bad. She's balanced. The only reason why she's in tier 1 is because she's balanced. She's not overloaded. She's not broken. She's just a really, really solid unit. Really nice. And for that reason, she's just going to stay right where she is. Not much else to say about her. I like the character. I like the design. But I'm not going to gas her up. So tier 1 at E0S0 is where we're going to put her. Mydei. Given what I know, oh my goodness. How do I say this? I kind of feel bad for Mydei owners. And I mean, I also tried to provide warnings about this guy. I said this guy seems like he's not going to be looking insane by the end of the version. He doesn't have enough going for him. And even with all the stuff that's coming out, he doesn't. I hate to say it. I don't care if you pull for Mydei and you love him. I don't give a shit. That's not the point. The point of this tier list is for people that actually care about future proofing their account. They actually care about the value of their characters until the end of time, or at least until the end of this version. This is what this tier list is for, not who you particularly love or cherish or for whatever weird reasons that you might like a character. Not the point, right? And based off of the characters that are coming out, the DPSs that are coming out, I was right. End of the version, he's going to be hovering around tier 1, most likely. He's not a bad unit by any stretch of the imagination. He's solid. But am I going to gas him up and put him at tier 0.5 or tier 0 with what I know? Hell no. So he stays at tier 1. All right? Moving on. He's getting his first rerun. Where does he go? Where does he go? He goes right here. Yes, he does. He has been a patient boy. He has been waiting for someone to actually bring him to the next level. And as I already said, Cipher, this little shit right here, I anticipate that his value is going to go up as a result of Cipher. Above Mydei. Yeah, I know. I'm not sure if this is one of the worst takes that I've ever made or I'm a genius, but I unironically believe that by the end of the version, given that he's a single target, and I think that his value as a single target is going to surpass his value as an AoE unit, that I have to put him here. This could be one of the worst takes that I ever have. I don't care. All right. But I really, really think that with what she does, she is like one of the most perfect partners for him by far. By far. It's not even funny. It's not even close. So I think that's the reason why they're rerunning Ratio. It seems kind of random, but when you consider that Cipher is going to be coming out, it makes a little bit more sense, right? So I anticipate that his value is going to go up. He's kind of been middling since he came out, unfortunately. He hasn't necessarily been bad, he just hasn't been great. And I think that Cipher is going to make Ratio great. So I put him at tier 0.5. You don't like that? Tough shit. That's where I'm putting them. Moving on. Aglaea. Still very solid. Great unit, right? But like I've said before, a lot of her kit is locked behind her signature and her first Eidolon. So at E0S0, she's good. But you need a lot to make her work at a high level without it. Like, you need to have Robin, you need to have Sunday. And if you don't have those pieces, then she definitely feels a little icky. You can at very least use her with the Remembrance main character, Remembrance Trailblazer, whatever you want to call them. Not a bad pickup for anybody that got her. Still a very solid unit that works with one of the best supports in the game. So tier 0.5 is where I'm going to leave her. I don't expect that her positioning is going to change very much. So there you go. And of course, people may know her as the progenitor of power creep, even though I've already stated that I disagree with that point entirely. I think that Jinglu is a progenitor of power creep and that she only made that problem worse. But it's none other than Acheron. What can I say? She is one of the best units in the game by far. It's not even close. She brought a lot of old units to life. She can be played in one of two ways. Both ways are very effective. However, because a lot of her kit, well, it's not a lot of her kit, but part of her kit is locked behind her light cone, I'm not sure if I can put her in tier 0. I've used her since she came out at E0S0, and it's very obvious to me and other players that she has an extremely high damage ceiling. She does a lot of damage with Super Break. She doesn't need Jiaoqiu. People will try to sell you that you need Jiaoqiu in order for her to function. It's not true, and I'm going to prove that to be true. But at the same time, to use the Super Break Acheron, what I'm planning to do is I'm pulling for her light cone because I already said I own her. And I'm hoping that I can prove without a shadow of a doubt that Super Break Acheron is a real meta that is going to shake things up moving forward. And I think the first step to doing that is getting that signature light cone. So if you have her already and you're looking to get that signature, this is the time to do it. It'll definitely make her way better. If you don't own Acheron, and this is important, if you don't own Acheron and you aren't pulling for Castorice, whatever your reasoning may be, you're not interested in her design, you're not interested in her playstyle, I would definitely highly recommend that you pick up this character. That's all I can say. Especially if you didn't pick up the Herta and you didn't pick up Aglaea. You need to have at least one unit that is very, very, very strong. I recommend that you get this one. Especially if you have some good night sleep wells that are lying around. If you have pearls at high super imposition as well. She works with Payload. She works somewhat well with Gwynifen as well. She's a great unit that is only going to continue to get better with time. I think that true Super Break Acheron is going to end up being one of the more valuable ways to use her, because instead of having to pull for Jiaoqiu, you can just get Ruan Mei, who is universally good. You get Fugue, who is almost universally good. And then, even if you don't use Acheron with Ruan Mei and with Fugue, you can still use Ruan Mei and Fugue on other teams so you haven't wasted your resources. Whereas with Jiaoqiu, if you pick him up and the only person that you're going to be using him with primarily is Acheron, it feels like you kind of got cooked from an investment standpoint. For that reason, I think that she is going to, moving forward, is going to go up the charts a bit. But I don't think that will happen without her light cone. With her light cone, I would put her here. Especially with what I've tested with Super Break Acheron. Without it, it definitely cooks some of her potential. The stack generation is not as good. If you're not interested in Super Break Acheron, and you just want to use her at E0S0, then go ahead and pull Jiaoqiu. Use Jiaoqiu with Acheron at E0S0, and you don't necessarily need her light cone as much. But if you want to try something different for once, if you want to play the game in a different manner, a way outside of the bounds, outside of the projections of theory crafters, if you want to legitimately give that a shot, get Acheron, try her with Ruan Mei that you can get for free, and if you already have Fugue, you're set. Pair her with Ruan Mei, Fugue, and remember its main character, true Super Break Acheron has insane potential. I'm going to show that. People don't believe. They think I'm talking out of my ass. I'm sure she has a lot of potential in that comp and in general. So we're going to put her at tier 0.5 without her light cone. But just know, you want to mix things up. You need a new DPS. You didn't pull for Herta. Didn't pull for Aglaea. You're not pulling for Castorice. You're not pulling for Finon. There you go. Pull for her. I can't believe people really thought that Seele Pro Max, even though I feel like that's kind of disrespectful at this point. She is truly Seele Premium now. Premium Seele, because Pro Max is just like, just like a little bit better. It's kind of like a disrespectful term, right? But she now is very, very, very strong, even at E0S0. People thought that she was going to be bad. People are now quitting and boycotting the game because of her global passive. All I can say to you is, bye-bye. Have a great time. Have a nice trip. I'm pulling for Castorice. I have not pulled since December 25th, 2024. And that was when Fugue came out. That's why I remember. I have been waiting for Castorice this whole time. I skipped Herta. I skipped Aglaea, even though I really wanted her. I skipped her. I skipped Tribbie, despite everyone glazing her. I skipped Mydei. All for her. I currently have 265 pulls. I'm getting her. I'm getting her light cone. Even without her light cone, she's still good. I'm getting her. I'm getting her light cone. I'm getting Acheron's light cone. I have been saving for 4 months for this. People are trying to talk on behalf of free-to-play players. I am a free-to-play player. Let me tell you, I don't give a shit about global passives. I don't care. I really don't. I'm not quitting the game over it. It's not happening. I have been playing with suboptimal teams the entire time that I played this game. The entire time. And one of the reasons why I can't make as much content experimenting is because obviously as a free-to-play player, I can't pull for every unit like these other content creators have. So all my pulls have to have a lot of thought behind it. I do a lot of planning. Literally 4 to 6 months in advance. That's what you have to do. If you want to beat power creep, beat the HP inflation, be able to clear every single memory of chaos and get all the resources without being forced to pull, you have to look into the future and plan your shit out. You have to be able to build up your resources and hold on to them. I have been saving for her because she changes everything. Whether or not that's good or bad, time will see. But I'm not going to argue about slippery slope fallacies because it's a fallacy. If you're a free-to-play player and you're looking for a character that is going to be doing well for the rest of this version and into the future, especially if you're a new player, this is a character you should look to. She works with Remember Us main character, Remember Us Trailblazer. There are other supports coming out down the line that is going to work perfectly with her. I know that people were concerned about Hyacine. I don't believe that you need Hyacine in order to make her function. You can just use Gallagher, who is also a featured 4-star on this banner. You get him up to at least E2, and there you go. That is already half your team complete. You got your Castorice. Now all you need is one more character. Oh, right. You already have that character, Ruan Mei, the character that I just said that you should use your free resource on. Your whole team is already planned out. And one patch, as a free-to-play player, even if you're brand new, you'll have a full team just from this one patch. This is one of the most consequential patches. I was saving for this patch because I knew it was going to be consequential. That's why I didn't put a lot of stock into Tribbie, into Mydei. I knew it was coming. But people don't want to listen to me. They think I'm bullshitting. Well, what now? A full team. Think about that. How many characters can you build a whole team around in one patch? Just from pulling one time. If you get Castorice, you get Ruan Mei for free. You get Gallagher. Inevitably, you get Gallagher. And you get the Remembrance Trailblazer. That's it. You have a whole strong-ass team to use for the rest of the version. Now people want to skip Castorice? You're going to quit the game? When as a free-to-play player and you're coming into the game, pulling for Castorice in this patch with all these free characters that you can get is easily one of the most moronic decisions that you can make. And it's unfathomable to me. It's unfathomable that no content creator is discussing this. That you can get a whole team, a strong team that can clear essentially all in-game content for the rest of the version off of this one patch. Not discussed. Not even brought up for a second. Outrageous. Truly outrageous. The majority of HSR content creators have failed. They failed the people that watch their channel. They failed them with all their doom posting, with all their complaining. No thinking of the positives. No actually explaining to newer players, explaining to free-to-play players the value of this patch. They don't care. Because being a negative Nancy, being a part of the glass half empty community, as I call them, being a part of that is more profitable. Jumping on the bandwagon and crying about what everyone else is crying about is more profitable. Understand, I haven't spent any money in this game, and I'm not earning any money from this channel. Understand that content creators, the same ones that are complaining about Castorice, are literally pushing a medium, pushing a genre that is inherently predatory, and now are trying to tell you that if you continue to play into the system that they have profited off of and the amount of tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars, that you're the fucking idiot. You're the dumb one now. They've already made their bag. They've made so much money they can buy themselves a new car, buy themselves a new house, support their family, all that shit. And they can leave now because they've made their bag. And on their way out, they just gotta freaking flip the board over on their way out. I don't want to play this game anymore. I'm flipping the board over. If that's how you feel, if that's how you feel, and I'm talking directly to any HSR content creator that might come across this video, if that's how you feel, if you're really trying to make a moral argument here, why don't you stop playing gacha games entirely? We all know gacha games are inherently predatory, or at least the people that have above room temperature IQ. We all know that. People have wasted tens of thousands of dollars on pixels on a screen. These characters hold no real world value, and yet you're gambling and wasting real money for them. It's actually worse to waste money on gacha than it is to waste money on gambling like DraftKings or shit like that. Because at least there you have a chance of getting some returns. And this you gain nothing. So for all you freaking people, content creators, players alike, who have an issue with Castorice, why do you continue to play gacha games then? Why continue to play in a predatory genre that we are all aware of? I don't give a shit about this global passive, and I'm not going to pretend like I do. This holds no weight to me whatsoever. I haven't spent any money on this game. Hoyoverse holds no power over me whatsoever. But I decided back in November of last year that I was pulling for this character. And now not only do I have a chance of getting her, but there's an opportunity for newer players to get an entire team in one patch. And you think I'm going to downplay that? Because of a global passive? Fellas have lost the plot. They complain about this being predatory, while failing to also understand in that same breath that all genre, this whole genre, all of gacha is fucking predatory. All of it is. If you have a problem with predatory practices, you would have to ask yourself, why do you play gacha at all? Are you a masochist? Are you a moron? Are you both? Those are questions that you must ask yourself and think really hard about it. So yes, I'm pulling for Castorice. I'm recommending that free-to-play players pull for Castorice, especially if you're new. And anyone who tries to tell you otherwise, just understand that they don't even understand the concept. They don't even have a grasp that all gacha, all of it, is predatory. There's no such thing as a fucking morally right gacha. There just isn't. It is very obvious that all gacha games on varying levels have power creep. They all incentivize you to buy microtransactions that you don't need to live your life. They all incentivize you to spend money on pixels you don't need. They all play to your emotions and are manipulative in one way or the other. The fact that people are going out of their way to say this game is better than Star Rail because you can do this, and this. Congratulations, sucker. They got you. They got your ass. Now you're out here fucking advertising for them. People will call me a Hoyo shill, but in the same breath, shill for another corporation. Newsflash. Shilling for any corporation is stupid. I'm not shilling for Hoyoverse. I'm just giving you the reality that this is one of the most consequential patches in the entirety of this game. If you choose wrong, if you don't have a plan, you're cooked. So I recommend for newer free-to-play players to pick up Castorice just because you can get a whole team essentially for free. That's fully functioning. Ruan Mei, Remembrance Trailblazer, Gallagher, and Castorice all function well together. It's not the best team for her, but it works. And that's what matters. It works, it's good. So that's what I'm going to say. I had to rant and get that shit off my chest. Moving on. Feixiao. Ah? Ah? Remember when I dropped my Feixiao video when people were trying to say that I was talking out of my ass? Remember when I said that Feixiao was going to be good until the end of the version? She's doing things that no one else can do? Well, now with Cipher coming out, well, it looks like my prediction was 100% accurate. She is not only still tier 0, I just did Memory of Chaos, this most recent one, and 2 cycled the other side with Kafka and those little horses. Sustainless, by the way. I used her, the team that I was gushing about, and that I put up a couple months ago. Feixiao, Robin, Imaginary March 7th, and do you remember a Trailblazer? I did the other side in 2 cycles sustainless. She's still really good. And people didn't think that she was going to be really good. I was like, I don't know why. You don't believe. I believed. And now she is going to be getting Cipher, which is just going to make her even better. We finally get the 5-star upgrade that we deserve. Because, let's be real, Topaz is mid. Mid. People are trying to gas her up. I remember, like, I want to say last patch, they were trying to gas her up. Ooh, you know, she's aged like fine wine. Topaz is fucking mid. You can literally get more stacks with Feixiao when you're using Imaginary March 7th, and it feels much cleaner to use Imaginary March 7th over Topaz. Even Topaz owners will tell you that. Now the Cipher is coming, especially at E0S0. Feixiao just got even better. So she stays right at tier 0, where she belongs. Now, that's right. These assholes. These assholes at Hoyoverse are dropping 3 limited 5 stars in one patch. And Finon is one of them. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. And Finon, from everything that I've heard, is going to be fucking broken. Because of course he is. Of course he is. I could give any kit spoilers. Just know that he's going to be a high attack frequency unit. Similar to Feixiao. Now, whether or not he's going to be single target or AoE, I don't know. But that's what I heard. Take what I say with a grain of salt until we actually get something that is more concrete. He goes there. Nothing else I can really say about that. If you're not interested in Acheron, you're not interested in Castorice, you're not interested in Herta, you're not interested in Aglaea, blah, blah, blah. You want your XP, all right? Your XP is going to be freaking good, all right? Your Kevin XP is going to be good. He's got to be good because Hoyoverse doesn't want to piss off the Kevin fanboys. We all know that. They piss off the Kevin fanboys and everybody's going to be sick. All right? He's going to be tier 0. That's what I predict. So that's where he goes. Whether or not he's worth waiting for that long, I don't know. I'm not waiting for him. But man, if I was spending money, I'd probably pick him up. So that's where I'm going to put him. Now, unfortunately, I am now being out of space because there's so many damn characters in that is coming up. There's so many. So now my dumbass is going to have to figure out something in post so this doesn't look as ugly as it does. But Saber is going to be coming out because this is the fake collab. 3.4 is the fake collab. Same time as Find On. I don't know how insane she's going to be. I say tier 0.5 first impression, but I've seen her element, and I've seen her path. And remember that second reason, I know it was a while ago, because this video's been going on very long. Remember that second reason of why I think that Anaxa got nerfed? I think it's because of Saber. So in reality, I think she's going to be broken. She is a part of one of the most popular franchises, anime franchises, in existence, the Fate series. I've watched Fate Stay Night myself. I love Unlimited Blade Works. You got Heaven's Feel as well, which is also good. She is a very, very popular character. And best believe that when Hoyoverse entered their contract with Ufotable, whoever they did their contract with, they knew the amount of money she was going to bring in. And they knew that she got to be really goddamn good in order to get that money. So if I had to guess, she's going to be tier 0. That's the way that I see it. Could be wrong. Tier 0. As for this boy, he's definitely not going to be as good as Saber. I don't see it happening based off of what I know. I'm not going to... There's a surprise coming. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You can go find it if you want. But there's a surprise, allegedly, regarding this character. And I don't think that with that surprise that he's going to be that broken. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the developers are crazy and they just do something beyond my expectations. Here's 0.5 is where I'm going to put him. I actually don't even know what his element or path is going to be. But I'm expecting him to be a DPS because in all the collabs that he's in and in FGO, he's a DPS. So I'm expecting him to be a DPS. And I expect him to be on the same tier as everyone else here. So we'll say tier 0.5. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's tier 1. It's my best guess. This is a speculative tier list. Of course, all of this is my opinion. You don't have to agree. But also, if you don't agree, I don't give a shit. It is what it is. So, we finally got all that out the way. Now I can go into the actual pull recommendations. I know that I made some pull recommendations already in this half. But we're going to full screen. Read this. All my recommendations are based off of my experience and perspective as a free-to-play player. We're considering power creep, future supports, all that shit. Every inch of information that is currently available to you and me if you look hard enough. So, these are the pool ratings. Please pause and look at this. Like I said way earlier at the beginning of the video. Read this shit. I didn't type it up for no reason. Pause and look at it. Thank you. All right. Consequential. Your decisions here are consequential. Whether you skip, pull, you're a free-to-play player like me, your decisions are consequential. We got to be wise. We have to be intelligent. I'm not using emotions here. This is as objective as I can get for now and moving forward with the information that I have. So, for starting off, the GOAT Luocha. Like I said, I'm not going to lie to you. Do not use your free resources on this man. Especially ones that are rare. Please don't. Please don't. It's not worth it. I can assure you it's not worth it. I love Luocha. I pulled for him because I knew that his value is going to be great moving forward. Right? I still use him to this day. But I'm also not going to lie and say that other other abundant units haven't come out that are just better than him. Undeniably. There are other units that I could get now that are just would have way more value than he does. But because I have limited resources, I can't pull for them. I already got my 2 limited sustains. And that's most likely going to stay that way for a very long time until I finish rounding out my account. If you're looking for this character to round out your account, don't. If you're looking for this to start your account out, don't. It's not worth it. Alright? If you have extra resources and you already have this guy and you want to get like his E1 for some reason, or you want to get his E2, because his E2 is actually really good though. His E1 is meh. His E2 is actually really good. You're looking to get his E2, you spent money in the game or whatever, and you don't give a shit. You want to get some extra copies of Luocha. Knock yourself out. I don't care. But if you're a newer player, you're free to play, you have limited resources, don't use your shit on him. Please don't. Don't be foolish. So he goes in luxury pool, low AV. I'm sad. Well, I guess I'm somewhat happy and somewhat sad at the same time, because I'm glad that I'm not going to feel super compelled to pull for this character. Like, she's going to be good. But the fact they a locked part of her kit, or at least one of those important parts of her kit, allegedly, behind her light cone, is disgusting work. And without that light cone, she might still be a best in slot for Castorice, but it's not going to be nearly as good. And the way that I see it, if you have a high Eidolon Gallagher, E4 to E6 Gallagher, even if you have E2 right now, you're most likely going to end on E4 to E6. I can't recommend this character, especially given the fact that you can get Gallagher for free. They have given out 4-star selectors that have Gallagher on it, and they're most definitely going to provide more 4-star selectors, which are going to keep bringing Gallagher back over and over and over and over again. And if the difference in utility between Hyacine and Gallagher isn't that massive, you just use Gallagher. I cannot, under any circumstance, recommend this character unless they change the way that the light cone, that important feature on the light cone, unless they add that to her base kit, I'm not recommending her. She's good. She's going to be strong. But she's only going to be a comfort pool without that damn light cone. And I'm not pulling for Castorice's light cone and Castorice, and then also have to pull for Hyacine and her light cone. Not doing it. Especially when I already have 2 limited sustains, and I have an E2 Gallagher, who's most likely will end up being E4 to E6, who works very well with Castorice. I'm just going to do that. That's the way that I see it. I'm putting her at comfort pool. If you disagree, as I already said, don't give a shit. Moving on to Amplifier. You already know. Comfort pool. I don't think that his value is greater than Fugue. If you are looking to pull for him over Fugue for some reason, I think that's a foolish mistake. You do not need him in order to make Acheron function at a high level. You just don't. So, if you're looking for a Firefoxian to pull in, if you don't own Fugue and you don't own Jiaoqiu, you pull for Fugue. She enables Super Break. She has much more value. She straight up just makes more characters better via her existing than Jiaoqiu, and that is not debatable. She works with Super Break Acheron. She works with Himiko. She works with Firefly. She works with Rappa. She works well with a lot of different characters. Whereas Jiaoqiu is only great with Acheron. He only reaches his full potential with Acheron. And I am never going to recommend a character that operates that way. So my thing is, I'm putting Fugue over Jiaoqiu. If you already own Acheron, and you're going to be getting Ruan Mei if you don't have her, because you should, you get Fugue. Please. I'm normally not as forceful as I am about my tier list. I'm really not. But if you're a free-to-play player, I highly recommend. I cannot make the decision for you. This is just I'm just making a very strong case for Fugue over Jiaoqiu. With your limited resources, I think that you should pull for a character that synergizes well with multiple DPSs and one of the best harmony supports in the game over a character that only synergizes really well with one character. That is my argument. Do with it as you will. She goes in should pull. Jiaoqiu moves in comfort pool. He's not bad. We're just talking about value. I think Fugue has greater value than Jiaoqiu. Moving on. Obviously, as I already said, if you don't own Ruan Mei, you get Ruan Mei. Period. She's free. And if you're getting Castorice and you don't own Tribbie, literally, again, you get a completely set up team from now into the future if you get her. You get Castorice, you get Ruan Mei, who does work with Castorice. There was misinformation going around that Ruan Mei doesn't work with Castorice because of a visual bug. She does. Theory crafters have confirmed this. She works very well with Castorice. You pair her with Remember a Trailblazer and Gallagher. They're all on the same patch. That's a full team right there. Definitely a must pull if you don't own her. If you already own her, her E1 is one of the best E1s in the entire game. For an amplifier of people in her class, one of the best in the game. That's it. It's just my opinions. If you don't want to listen, it is what it is. Trying to be helpful. I put her in must pull. They massacred my boy. I'm sad about it. But it is what it is. I can't highly recommend him anymore. So we put him in comfort pool. I've already explained why. Of course, the damn cat girl who enables all single target units to be better is going to be should pull. I wasn't expecting her to be this good. I really thought she was going to be, I was more expecting her to be a sleepy character. But I think that she is going to be a gem, a diamond in the rough for version 3.3. And I'm putting her at should pull. And if for some reason, if they make her even more broken than what she's projected to be, she's going to take a lot of single target characters and put them on a different level. That's all I can say. Putting her at should pull. You guys already know how I feel. The free-to-play players, I think that you should get this character because, as I already said, you get a whole team in this patch by pulling her. I'm not going to repeat it again. I don't know how many times I have to say the same thing over and over again. I have never, in the entirety of this time that I've been playing this game, and I have been playing since day fucking one, have I ever seen a character basically get a whole team in one patch. A whole team. That cannot be understated. It cannot be understated. Ship pool is where she goes. You guys thought I was going to put him in comfort pool? Have you lost your damn mind? Listen, I said that he was going to be getting a buff and just going to go to tier 0.5. While that is true, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to pull for him. Are you out of your mind? There are way better single target units than this guy. But if you already own a free ratio, if you're playing when they gave him out for free, when Cipher comes out, W all of us free Dr. Ratio owners. Now, his light cone, on the other hand, is a different story. His light cone's insane. If you want to pick up his light cone, knock yourself out. But this isn't a light cone tier list. This is a character tier list. And he is, I cannot recommend him with the other characters that have come out already and are going to come out. The DPSs is even single target DPS. No fucking shot. No shot am I going to highly recommend this to. So, unless you got extra resources to waste, don't get this guy. I'm not going to put him in skip because he's not ass, and his value has gone up a bit with Cipher. But he also hasn't gotten enough to justify pulling him as like some insane carry for your account. So if you have him for free, and you decide to get Cipher, you're going to have a lot more fun with him. But if you don't own him, unless you have extra resources, don't get this guy. Just don't. Don't waste your resources. Don't be goofy. All right? So luxury pool is where he goes. We already talked about it. From what I've seen, he's going to be broken. It's that simple. He's going to be game-changing, a meta-shifting unit. That's what I've seen. That's what I've heard. I don't have any reason to not believe that, given the fact that the Huohuo developers cannot afford to piss off all the Kevin fanboys, especially on the Chinese end. They can't afford to do that. They've already pissed people off with Castorice. All right? But I'm putting him there. Large account value, definitely a ship pull. I'm not getting him, but that's only because I don't have the resources. Sorry. I already have Feixiao. I already have Acheron. I'm getting Castorice. I don't need any more broken DPSs. All right? I need to round my account out. So unfortunately, he is outside of my plans. But for people who are looking for him and are happy, for him and are looking forward to him, he's not going to be bad. He's probably going to be game breaking. That's what I anticipate. So he goes in ship pool. This is one of the hardest decisions. This is one of the hardest decisions that I'm going to have to make. She goes here. Unfortunately, she is legit so damn good. She's not a must pull. I don't believe that any DPS is a must pull. It really depends on what you value in a character and what your tastes are gameplay wise, playstyle wise. But she still to this day has a lot of value. I've already explained why I believe that. I think that Super Break Acheron is going to be one of the future metas. That's what I think. Maybe it's not, but I am sure as shit going to try. I strongly believe in true Super Break Acheron, and I am going to test it and advocate it until people take notice. And because I anticipate that she is going to pop off with true Super Break Acheron by the end of the version, I'm going to put her at should pull. There is a unit that's coming. Remember that I said that's going to power creep the Remember his Trailblazer. I think that character in combination with Castorice, sorry, not Castorice, with Acheron, Ruan Mei, and Fugue is going to be a filthy combination. I think it's going to be a filthy, filthy combination. That's how far ahead I'm looking. And allegedly, that character is going to work well with Castorice as well. So ultimately, right now, you're kind of at a crossroads because there are 3 insane characters available for you, DPS wise. And as a free-to-play player, you have to decide which one that you're going to pick. I can't make the decision for you, but I've already made my arguments. It's up to you to make your final decision. Castorice, you get a full team in one patch, so there's a lot of value there. With Acheron, you essentially you get Ruan Mei. If you don't have her already, you can use Acheron with Ruan Mei. Trust me, it's a really good combination. People don't realize that Ruan Mei's ultimate applies a debuff known as the Nato Plume Rebloom. That flower debuff counts towards Acheron's stacks. If you add in the fact that she can get defense shred at her E1 and she already has that res pin, you have insane synergy. Then you have Fugue, who you can also pull for, which will work well with not only Acheron, but for other DPSs as well. And then, of course, you have the Trailblazer and the person that's going to power creep them much further down the line, and you have plenty of time to save for them. And then, of course, you got Finon, who right now is an unknown, the eccentric unknown. We don't know how good this man is going to be. I know that he is going to be good. He's going to be great. But can I tell you if he's going to be better than Castorice? Better than Acheron? No. I don't even know right now whether or not true Super Break Acheron, the team that I'm coming up with, is going to be better than my Castorice team. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. Which is the reason why these are just recommendations. I don't have all the answers, Sway. I don't. So you have to decide. You got to do your research. I'm just providing my perspective and trying to be an additional voice, especially if you're a free-to-play player, and there's not a lot of content creators out there who are free-to-play. These are my perspectives on these 3 game-changing characters. Game-changing. Which one you pick, especially if you're new, is up to you. Please do your research. Moving on. Your boy, Archer. I think he's going to be a strong character. For sure. Is he going to be worth pulling over the characters above him? Hell no. No shot. But he's going to be good. A lot of people like Archer as well, and I think that for the reason he's going to be a strong unit. But based off of the surprise that the developers have regarding this character, and I'm sure you might be able to guess what that is. I don't think that he's going to be game changing. I don't think that he's going to be broken. I just think that he's going to be a solid unit. So we're going to put him at comfort pool. And of course, last but not least, I don't have enough space for all these damn units, man. But she goes here. Just pretend like this looks clean, all right? No, it doesn't. I'm going to be posting a more cleaner version, as clean as I can get, to my community posts after this. Like I said, one of the reasons why I think Anaxa got cooked is because of this character. I think they finally settled on a kit for her. They're making their moves. They're doing their balancing already. They always work on characters, 5 to 6 months in advance. They always do, and they're starting to settle on to the final changes. And I don't think they can afford to make her bad either, because they need to make money off this character. And a lot of people like this character. A lot of people like the Fate series. If this character were to be mediocre, it would make a lot of fanatics upset. So I think she's going to be a shit pull. I don't know how good she's going to be compared to all these characters. That's the reason why we update these tier lists. And of course, before she comes out, once we have more kit information, we can make a determination of whether or not she should stay here or if she should move down. Right now, I'm predicting that she is going to be a very, very strong unit, especially since she's going to be a limited time. Gotta get that FOMO. That's how Hoyoverse operates. I think that she's going to be a should pull. I'm not pulling for her no matter how good she is because I don't need her. But for people that are looking forward to her, I expect that she is going to be very, very good. So now, here's the tier list. It's a lot of shit, man. There's a lot of characters coming out. All right, a lot of strong characters, a lot of great characters. You can take a screenshot of this if you want. I'm going to be putting this on my community post and make this a bit cleaner. And, of course, here is the polling tier list. I'll screenshot this. Knock yourself out. Makes no difference to me. But yeah, this is one of the most consequential patches in all of Star Rail's history. For free-to-play players and low spenders alike. I've already made my plans known. I'm pulling for Castorice with their signature light cone, along with Acheron's light cone. I think Acheron has insane potential. I think that if, and this is a big if the character that power creeps the Remembrance Trailblazer is as insane enough, if they're insane enough, I might move Acheron up to tier 0 later on down the line in that DPS category. But we'll see. Even with her being tier 0.5, I know that I put her below Finon at E0S0. I put her below Castorice. I still think that she's a should pull if you're looking for a unit that has an unfathomably high ceiling in terms of her potential. That's all I'm going to say regarding the tiers and the characters. Hopefully this information was helpful to you. For all my subscribers, this message is for you and for anyone else that is going to subscribe. So, I'm going to keep this short, but it gets kind of personal. But I just want to explain, even though I don't have to, I don't have to tell you guys shit, right? The reason why my activity has been sort of spotty over the past, let's say, like month or so is because after the last version, literally the day after version 3.1 came out, and the only reason why I know that is because I tried the new Memory of Chaos on that day, and I literally lost my job the day after that. Then I had health issues immediately after that as well. So, fortunately for me, yippee, I got a new job. Yippee, now I can actually make more content because I don't have to do a bunch of interviews and I don't have to worry about my health as much anymore. I'm still doing my project. The project is still coming. It has to. If you are interested in learning more about my mindset and you want to have that free to play perspective, you should always have multiple people that you're looking to make your decisions around. Don't just base your decision making around me. But if you want someone who has that free to play perspective and you want to learn more about my thought process when I'm talking about these characters and their value and how I built my account, so on and so forth, subscribe, like the video, because what I'm going to be discussing in this project is essentially going to be it's going to be an account review of sorts, but it's going to be an in-depth explanation as to not only why I selected the characters I selected, how I planned out, how you should plan out if you want to think similarly to me, especially if you're a free-to-play player, and how you think moving into the future, how you decide to do horizontal investment, when to decide to do vertical investment, stuff like that. If things like that, if that's what you're interested in as a free to play player and you're new, that's what I intend to make my project about. So if you're interested in those things, I'm still going to be making it. I don't get paid to do any of this shit. I can only do this stuff with high frequency when I am secure. I got my job. I got my first check on Friday. I'm gassed up. So now I can start making content more frequently. And this is my first step. This long ass video is just a precursor as to what's to come. Once Castorice comes out, we're going to do a stream where not only are we going to be pulling for her, we're going to be pulling for the light cone. That's going to be fun because, like I said, I haven't pulled since December. Then we're going to do testing with Castorice, putting my money where my mouth is, and showing you don't need Tribbie, you don't need Mydei, you don't need any of these characters that people are trying to sell. People are short-sighted. They think that you can only play characters in one way. Reminder that Super Break Acheron was supposed to be a meme. And now, when players like me say, no, you can use Ruan Mei. You can use Ruan Mei, especially if you have her E1. I have E1S1. You can use her with Merge Trailblazer. You can use her with Sunday as well. I'm going to be testing her with a litany of team comps as soon as she comes out. So if you're looking forward to that, that's coming out as well. With that being said, like, subscribe. Your boy Rs is out of here.